And we are live. Well, let's see. Can you guys hear me correctly? The sound is proper. Well, I'm still getting used to using this model. It's a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Lilly, and we're gonna do a proper presentations about this channel, our goals, and what you guys can expect from the next streams. First, I would like to showcase a bit of the model itself. Uh, it's quite weird to show off this model. I've been working on it for some weeks now, and everything you all can see here on this streaming was handmade by myself, which took quite a long time, especially this background illustration. I'm gonna show more in a second after the presentation. And let me scooch over a bit here to the left so I can do our proper introduction. Just a second. Oh, wait. The screen is not collaborating. Here we go. Now it's working properly. Just a second. Well, how do I start that? As I said, my name is Lilly. I'm a human, totally human, that works as an art history scholar and an artist, deciphering the human art and human history of art. My birthday is in September, and I am 3,000 years old. I can speak two languages majorly, Portuguese and English, but I can read quite well in French, Italian, and Spanish. Especially because of my studies in art history, I need to read documents in foreign languages. I personally like drawing, reading, gaming in the free time. I have quite an interest and passion for 3D modeling. Coffee is, of course, one of my favorite things to drink, and blood, clearly, human behavior. But jokes aside, the blood has some interesting tones for me, which make them quite interesting. I don't like sunlight. It makes my skin itchy. I don't like loud noises. My brain go every time I face a loud noise. And shallow talks are the thing that kill me, actually. Speaking in the depth of a pound is quite annoying for myself. Some games I like. I thought it was interesting for the introduction. Lies of P, one of my favorite Souls-like, that was made with a lot of love, and I played through it all, and for me it's one of the most important games of my life currently. Minecraft is part of my life for many years now. I play since 2015, 2016, which makes almost a decade already. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which I personally prefer over Skyrim, and it was one of the first video games I owned, and I have a clear memory of my parents buying the game for me in a special occasion, along with some mints. It's a core memory for me. Metal Gear V, because again, it's one of the games that made part of my life when I was younger, and I played a lot. I played recently, and it aged so well for me. It's one of my favorite games from Kojima. And Bloodborne, following with the Souls series. Again, one of my first contacts, my second contact with the Souls series. First one being Dark Souls 3. But Bloodborne is more aligned with the thematics I like, especially Blood. The faster gameplay too is more interesting to me, the fast pace. For books, since I quite like reading, Mécanique, A Tale of Circus Tresalt from Geneviève Valentine, which is an American author, even though it's a very French name, I would say. It tells a tale of moving circus in a post-apocalyptic land where every high-end technology was erased from Earth, and they went back to a kind of a steampunk, but only in the circus. So the circus attractions are half human, half machine, steam machines. Crime and Punishment from Fyodor Dostoevsky, because Russian literature is something that I enjoyed a lot. And it's a book that every time you read, you can find a new meaning to it and a new perspective of your life. Raskolnikov is a quite interesting character, and with such a depth that is very interesting to read and to many phases of your life. The Letters of Vincent van Gogh. As an artist, it's very personal to me, his letters, because I share some situations similar to what he passed through, of course from other time, but the way he understood art and the way he understood light, paintings, fields, everything. Each letter for me is poetry. It's very impressive how can something that he never thought it would become a book would be so important for many people. And it's a very important book for me. And I read it I would say 4 times. Lord of the Rings is a very important book for me too. The Hobbit would be here too as well, but I didn't want to make the list so longer. Lord of the Rings for me is maybe one of the best books ever written, in English language at least. The way that the immersion we get through the details Tolkien wrote about the Shire, about Rivendell, about Gondor, Rohan, everything in this book makes it very, very immersive and impressive. And curious enough, makes me, personally speaking, makes me feel a nostalgia from something I didn't live it. Which is quite interesting, and it's quite interesting effect as well. And last but not least important, Dracula from Bram Stoker. I read it first time I read it, it was 7 to 8 years ago. I got in a nice version that is Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Doctor and the Monster. And that version of the book was very, very cool. It's very beautiful. And reading it as a letter romance is very interesting. It shaped a lot about what do we know about vampires, even though it's not the first one. It's the first novel about vampires. I know Carmilla exists. But for me, it's very important because it's very well written, and it marked me, made me very. It gave me the energy to reread more than once, which is quite unusual for books. Some music I like. It's gonna sound a bit weird, but I am not the biggest person on listening new music. I try. I try to have a very eclectical music taste, so I can listen to a bit of everything. But to make this list about like my favorite music artists was quite hard. But I would say in this list is the importance of them for me. First, going with the Crane Wives, American band, folk, that have so many songs that resonate with me, and I personally like it a lot. It reminds me a lot of like road music in my mind. Ado, or little Japanese singer, also known as the person who made the sounds for Uta from One Piece, and she's quite popular now. I like to say that I was there before. I follow her since 2015, 2016, when she launched Lucewa. First to 11, that is majorly a cover band, but I quite enjoy the aspects they bring to the musics, the cover, and they have a pretty cool vibe. And each song they cover, I listen again and again, and sometimes even more than the original one. The Folk Beach Trio, which is if I'm not mistaken, they are British, and their music evokes the same nostalgia of something I didn't live, which is weird to say the least, but it's quite it's good and weird at the same time, but it's not a problem at the end. That nostalgia with folk music happens a lot, I believe. And as last song, we couldn't let a power metal band out, because metal and those variants were part of my life, so it's very important to me. It's one of the few bands I can recognize any song from like the first 3 seconds of it, which I quite think it's very interesting. For movies and series, I decided to make it a bit more shorter, so I don't waste much time talking about it. I would start with my favorite movie, Loving Vincent. That is a movie entirely hand painted with oil painting. That is based on the letters from Vincent van Gogh, and is a very deep narrative. It's one of the few movies that I rewatched more than once, and since it follows a lot of the letters, it resonates a lot with me. Following, we have a movie that was made in United States, but it's basically a German movie, because the director is German, the original tale is German, the casting is German, everything except the locations are German on this movie. The Never Ending Story. I watched it first when I was like 6 years old, and it's a beautiful movie. It doesn't need a presentation or me gossiping, fangirling over it. Nosferatu, the original one from 1920, the one that was a copyright infringement basically and was deemed to be destroyed, but fortunately survived it, and we got this piece of the German Expressionism, which is a movie that nowadays is hard to people to watch it, considering it's black and white, no sound, basically. I mean, no speech at least. But it's a very good movie, and I totally recommend it. People watching it. In the series or cartoons, we have Hilda, that is a British cartoon based on Luke Person comics that have the same name, and is a story of a girl and his mother and her mother that moved to a city in the middle of England, and in this place the tales are real. So they have trolls, they have elves, they have everything from the United Kingdom folklore basically. So it's pretty interesting, it's pretty sweet to watch it, and it, even though it's deemed as a child's show, it's very mature and talk a lot about friendship and how we deal with each other, which for me is very important. Entering the anime territory, we have Violet Evergarden, maybe for me at least one of the most beautiful animes ever made by Studio Tokyo. Kyoto Animation. And it narrates a life after a big war of a child soldier who lost both arms and got mechanical ones. And since she is a child soldier, she never truly understood human emotions or love, hate. She didn't have contact with those. Therefore, she is now after war trying to learn those things while she seeks for her lover, her general, sorry, that she fell in love, but she doesn't understand properly yet. And to finish it, here we have another very beautiful anime called Vampire in the Garden. That's more recent. It's from 2020. It's 5 episodes because they are a bit longer than most animes, so it's basically a big movie split in 5 parts, and narrates a weird friendship between a human and a vampire in a world where the vampires rule the world. After in a dystopian scenario. Well, following to some more information about the project, this channel, we have a live tag, live on, for eventual clips, or if someone's watching the stream and wants to make a post about it, we have a tag for that. We have an art tag, Lil Art, with only 2 L's, so I can see any fan art that you guys make. And every group, every urban tribe needs their name, how they recognize themselves. And I choose Bats for obvious reasons. And that way we can create a colony. As a matter of fact, a group of bats is called colony. And our fun mark is a little bat that you guys can put on your bio or any post you guys made about it, about our project. Speaking of project, we have some goals and future streams to talk about. The first goal is not the first one to be achieved, but is to make one collab through this year at least. So it's gonna be a journey, and it's probably the last one that's gonna be finished. The second goal I put here in our bucket list is to make the first season of History of Art, which brings me to the point of this channel. I will be making, besides the streams, videos about History of Art, and I plan to cover periods. So we're gonna start with Stone Age, then we're gonna go to the first civilizations, and keep going until the modern days, which is gonna take some time, but the goal is bring depth to the discussion of history of art, not bring it only the basic. Is to analyze art through a technical way, a philosophical way, and a cultural way, because every art piece is a document of his time. We're gonna do one drawing stream per week at least, so I can train and keep drawing. And well, if someone wants someone to chat or watch it, it's free to join. We're gonna try making one per week, but I would like 2 or 3 depending on the piece I'm working on. The last goal of this bucket list is finishing learning a language that I'm studying, or get better at the ones I can read. So instead of only reading Spanish, Italian, and French, being able to speak something of it. Of course, it's not a ultra important goal, but it's a goal nonetheless. And for the future streams, we're gonna have drawing and art streams where I'll be drawing, of course. And those drawing streams are gonna happen either by personal pieces for myself, for my portfolio, or historical pieces, like repainting historical pieces to learn fundamentals. So in one live I can be repainting Gustavo Klimt, The Kiss, or maybe La Pietà in a 2D drawing, even though it's a sculpture. For other streams, we're gonna do some game streams to decompress. And the first game we're gonna play is gonna be Vampire. It's probably gonna be tomorrow or Friday, the first gaming stream. And quite a goal, and maybe we can call it a promise, is live talks about history of art. But for that, I need to learn more and be more prepared to narrate that on live, to make basically free lessons. And let me go back to the main thing. Here I am back. Now I would like to do a little showcase of the model, because it was my first model I'm working on, and so it has a lot of flaws, but the results were quite acceptable. I have some animations of my little pencils and brushes. And on this model, I wanted to work a lot on the texture of it, to bring texture to the model itself. Personally, I like more rough texture than smooth surfaces. So this model I designed it all by myself with 5 or 6 iterations. And animated all by myself too as well. For the model, I have some toggles that I would like to show. I can remove my little neck cape. so I can breathe more proper, or when it's hot, I don't need to use it. I can remove my beret, which is a bit weird because I'm always using it. I can remove my goggles, my glasses, I mean. And the last toggle, but very important one as well, it's my hand. That I can use it for my drawing strings, and I'm very proud that it's working properly. This scenario here, I made it by myself as well to make a little cozy room that I would like to have, with a little shelves working as curiosity cabinets. So I'm stashing some important stuff there, and a lot of my books, especially art books. For the paintings on the background here, I wanted to bring some of my favorite pieces. So we have the girl with the parasol from Monet, a branch with flowering almonds from Van Gogh. We have the Great Wave of Kanagawa. We have the Kiss. We have a Vanitas. We have the Sunflowers from Van Gogh too, that my mom asked me to put this one. We have the girl with the pearl earring from Johannes Vermeer. We have Goya on the corner there with I forgot the name of the painting, but basically shows Zeus' father consuming his brothers. And last but not least important, my favorite is the Fat Pigs. That is a historical piece. As I said, every single art piece is a document of his time. So basically, those are paintings that people would make of their farms or would commission. So they could show how wealthy they were and how rich they were. So the animals were always comically fat and comically big. And I personally like a lot the one with the pigs. So I did that as a gift for myself. And yeah, that pretty much sums my what I can talk about this scenario now without spoilers. And I plan to talk more about it when I'm talking about the art itself. The first video we're gonna be having in this channel is about Stone Age art, with views on Johann Huizinga book, Homo Ludens, and the views of André Leroy Gourhan, which is a French anthropologist that brings out some philosophical analysis on why the first people on Earth would draw more animals than themselves, and what that means philosophically speaking, and what we can learn about it. And I believe I cannot give more spoilers of this video, but I would appreciate if you guys would stay up to watch it. This was quite an interesting debut, and I'm very anxious. I hope everyone liked it and could hear me well. And that's it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your presence.